Love, I am an old man now, with hair as white as snow, and hands that tremble with age. Each morning I sit by the window, gazing at the trees outside. The wind sways the leaves gently, and as they dance, my memories stir, rising like waves upon the shore. Some bring quiet joy, while others leave tears glistening on my cheeks. I had a wife once, her name was Evelyn. She was the warmth in every winter and the light in my darkest days. Her laughter would echo through the halls, chasing away shadows. Together we had 3 children, a daughter and 2 sons. They were the stars of our universe. I worked tirelessly to provide them with what I never had. Days were long, but their smiles made every sacrifice worthwhile. Evelyn was the heart of our home. She kept it alive with love, baking sweet cakes, helping with schoolwork and humming lullabies at night. Our little house overflowed with laughter and love. But time has a way of slipping through your fingers. The children grew, spreading their wings, finding new paths. The house grew quieter with each passing year. Evelyn would reassure me, "They'll come back, my love. They always do." Her words were my solace. Then one fateful day, Evelyn fell ill. It was sudden and cruel, as if the universe sought to test our love. I became her caretaker, feeding her, holding her hand, and whispering the stories she once told our children. She looked at me, her eyes dim yet full of love, and said, "Promise me you'll take care of them, even if they forget to take care of you." That night, she slipped away quietly. My world shattered. The house, once filled with laughter, now echoed with silence. I longed for my children to fill the void, to remind me of what we'd built together. But life had other plans. Their visits dwindled. Calls became brief and hurried. "We're busy, Dad," they'd say. And though my heart ached to scream, "I need you," I replied. "I understand." Eventually, they sat me down. "It's not safe for you to live alone anymore," they said. "You'll be happier in a home." My chest tightened, but I nodded, knowing I had no choice. Now I sit here, in a place called Willow Haven. The walls are pristine, the nurse is kind, but it isn't home. The days blur together: breakfast at 8, lunch at noon, dinner at 6. I spend my hours by the window, watching the world pass me by. I think of Evelyn. I think of the life we built. Did I fail my children somehow? Did I not show them enough love? These questions haunt me, their answers lost in the silence that surrounds me. One day, a young boy appeared in the garden where I sat. He was the son of one of the nurses. "Hi, Grandpa," he said, his bright smile warming the chill in my heart. "Do you have any stories?" he asked. For a moment I hesitated, but then the memories spilled out like a river. I told him about my childhood, the endless fields, the river where we swam, and my best friend Tom, who once dared me to climb the tallest tree. The boy's eyes widened, and his laughter reminded me of my youngest son. For the first time in years, I felt alive. That evening, a nurse handed me a notebook. "Write your memories," she suggested. At first I hesitated, unsure of where to begin. But soon the words flowed. I wrote about Evelyn, her voice that could calm any storm. I wrote about my children, their first steps, their first words, and the nights we spent gazing at the stars. The notebook became my companion, a bridge to the past. Each word felt like a conversation with Evelyn, a way to hold on to the life we'd shared. I hoped my children might one day read it and understand the depths of my love. Weeks later, a letter arrived. My eldest son had written back. His words were filled with guilt and regret. "I'm sorry, Dad," he wrote. "I've been so caught up in life, but I think of you often." He promised to visit soon. For the first time in months, I felt hope. Days passed, then weeks. I waited by the window, each passing car sparking a glimmer of anticipation. And then, one morning, I heard footsteps outside my door. The knob turned slowly, and there he was, my son. Behind him stood 2 children, my grandchildren. "Dad," he said, his voice trembling. "I'm here." Tears welled in my eyes as he stepped forward and hugged me. The children handed me drawings they'd made, pictures of a smiling old man under a tree. "That's you, Grandpa," they said. Their laughter filled the room, chasing away the emptiness. We talked for hours. I told them stories of their father's mischief as a boy. My son listened intently, his face a mix of nostalgia and regret. As they left, he promised to return, and this time I believed him. The days are still quiet, but they no longer feel empty. My daughter visited soon after, her eyes brimming with tears. She apologized, promising to come back more often. Slowly, my family began to piece back together the broken fragments of my heart. I still miss Evelyn. I see her in the sunsets and hear her in the whispers of the wind. But as I sit in the garden, surrounded by my children and grandchildren, I feel her presence. Her love taught me resilience, and her memory reminds me that even in the quietest moments, there is always something to hold on to. And so I continue to write, to remember, to hope. Life may not have turned out as I'd envisioned, but sitting here, surrounded by love, I realize it has been beautiful in its own way.